So this is our class 52, 28th. Right. So yesterday we were discussing about break. So I'll again take it up, break and continue. Okay. So there was one question that we were discussing in reference to your break. Okay. क्या था question?
When, sir?
Yesterday.
Okay, 10 pairs of integers.
Sorry.
10 pairs of integers.
10
So
pairs of
the
integers.
sum of the 10 pairs of integers.
Correct. So the question was write a program. So we'll come to break directly. Write a Python program to accept 10 pairs of integers and display their sum. Display their sum. If the sum is positive, terminate the program.
Negative, sir. Change it.
अच्छा नेगेटिव है ठीक है पॉजिटिव में भी लॉजिक सेम ही रहता ओनली डिफरेंस वुड हैव बीन द साइन ओके
So if it is positive, then it will be sum is greater than 0.
Correct.
Lesser than 0. Oh yeah, greater than 0. Fine.
greater than 0 होगा sum is negative then terminate the program. Okay. So क्या करेंगे? We have to take two different numbers 10 times. So if there is a repetition in the type of work, if the similar type of work has to be repeated, then of course we are going to use loop. And which loop we are going to use here? For or while? For. Why?
Because it's simpler.
Simpler. The main reason is
We can use both.
We should use for.
we can use both, but we should use for. The reason is for is used when
the range is
Limited numbers, sir.
when you know how many times to do that job in beforehand. Okay. So number of repetitions or number of times that you have to accept the pair is known. That is 10 times. Okay. So therefore you are going to, because the number of repetitions has been specified or is suggested in the question itself. So you're going to take for loop. So your program will be something like for I in a range. You can also take 0 to 10, no problem. First number is equals to, or not only int, you can take float also. Or because question mentions integer, okay, fine, no problem. Take int. If integer is not mentioned, you can take float also. That will be better. Okay, and then s is equals to then what you will do? Break. Okay. Print s. So what will happen in this case? So if for those, let's say first two numbers you enter, if that sum comes to be positive or zero, it will be displayed because s will be greater than, s will not be less than zero. Similarly, the moment you will get, okay, if before the 10th acceptance, let's say if you are accepting 10 times, 5th time, 6th time or 7th time, anywhere before 10, if you get a number or a pair of numbers such that their sum is negative, then for that number, the sum will not be printed, rather the program will terminate. By terminate, I mean it will come out of the loop, and because there is nothing outside the loop, the program will terminate. Okay. So this is the use of break. Using break helps you terminate a loop. Okay. So we can mention note break statement terminates the loop containing it. Containing it का मतलब, by containing it we mean the body in which the break is contained. The body or block in which break is contained the program execution will come out of it. The program control will come out of it. Okay. Can it be used for while loop?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because I have mentioned loop here, not any for loop or anything. So,
Sir, I made this in while loop.
Asha, you did it. Good. It can also be used with while loop. Let's say I twist this program a bit और क्वेश्चन में कुछ ऐसा बना दो. Write a Python program to accept okay, so Lars has shared something. Yeah, that's correct. 100% correct. So the same program can be made with while also. देखो उसका solution, I'll just display it on the screen. That is absolutely fine. Okay. Just a minute. If you can see, अगर देख रहे हो तो it's taken a counter S for sum, finding the sum. Here, shouldn't you do S is equals to A plus B? You have done here S is equals to S
yes,
plus B. So that
I
line,
didn't execute it.
only for line number 6, you can correct. In line number 6, it should be S is equals to A plus B, right? Else everything else is fine. So you can just correct the line number 6, which should be S is equals to A plus B. And then here he has used counter to control this condition. Okay, every time he finds the sum, he increases the counter by 1. So by the time the first time the counter is 1, so first time it will be executed. The first time the sum is found, after that it will become 2. Second time the sum is found, the counter will become 3. This it's like that. So till the time 10 times that counter checks how many times this process has repeated. For that purpose, he has used the counter. So that is fine. Okay. Can't we apply it? Yes, you can apply augmented operators, but augmented means see. Okay, if this, I hope this program is clear. I'll come to Ankit sir. Can we, sir, are break and pass same because both are used to come out of the body? No. Tejas, absolutely not. Break is used to come out of the body of the loop. Pass is used because we cannot leave the body empty. It simply suggests because if you do not write, if you cannot leave empty block in Python, that is why you have got the option pass. That simply suggests to maintain the syntax, you can say sanctity of your syntax, or you can say to maintain or to follow the laws of the compilers, which will not which will throw errors if you leave any body of any compound statement empty, and which you later want to fill. Okay, at later point of time, if you want to fill any body, and for the checking you are just writing the layout of the program, and later you decide to fill the bodies of different compound statements that you have used. In that case, only pass will be used. Pass is simply used because you cannot leave the body empty, which means later on you will, at some point of time, you are going to write remove pass, and you are going to write code for that in the block. Just to check the overall structure of your program, at times programmers, before writing some rough work, just like that rough program they will be writing, so they will say, okay, in this loop we will do that. If you are showing someone, your boss or somewhere, I'll write a loop here, and for that logic I will write later. Then there will be a condition checking, which will do this. So for now I am leaving it empty. So like that you will leave just lay out of your entire program, and wherever you need to leave your body empty, you will write pass. Pass does not break the execution. Rather, it ignores. It comes out of the body, assuming that you will later write something. Okay, but break starts the execute. Break will be like statements are executing, but it will come out of the loop. So purpose is different. One is just you cannot leave the body empty, and another is that you purposefully out of the loop based on some condition, or whenever that condition is met and break statement is hit. So their purpose are not the same. Okay, so pass is simply for maintaining the sanctity of your code, just to comply by the compiler's rule that, okay, fine, I will follow your rule, but allow me for this while to leave it blank. Later on, I will fill it. Okay, but break statement is used for specifically terminating the loop. Also, pass can be used with other compound statements, like other flow control statements like if. Okay, break cannot be used. अच्छा मैं थोड़ा इंग्लिश में चला गया अंकित, don't worry about it. Sanctity means purity, sort of purity, जो rules and regulations को follow करते हुए you are writing a code. So I mean, in the sense of purity, in the sense of correctness, I was telling you sanctity. Okay. So okay, Tejas, and like I said, there is another thing that if and if else, elif, they cannot use break, but pass can be used both in loops and other flow control statements as well. Okay, not only here, later on when we are going to study functions, when you will be creating your own functions, okay, then there also you will see that pass can be used. It simply suggests that later on I'll fill. For now, just allow me to proceed with this rough idea of code, a rough structure, and when I'm convinced later on, I will fill it. It's just like fill in the blanks template. Okay. Allows you to miss the code right now and later on write it. That's the main purpose. Okay. Right. So अंकित भी कुछ पूछ रहा था. हाँ, augmented assignment operators. देखो, augmented assignment operators का क्या मतलब होता है? What do we mean by that? If you write a plus equals to 2, what does this mean? A is equals to a plus 2. Right? So when you are trying to accumulate, find the sum of all the numbers from 1 to n, factors of all the numbers from or product of all the numbers from 1 to n, then in the last result you will have to add and keep on accumulating whatever was last. In that you add something or multiply something and then make it a again next time. So it is generally used for this form, or a multiplied by is equals to 2. These things are generally used when you want to take into account results of previous rounds as well, of each round, results of each step, you can say. ठीक है, ये sort of accumulator काम करता है कि it will also take into consideration last values. Okay, but here every time you have to find the sum of two numbers. Okay, so here you cannot use s is equals to s plus. If you write like this, s plus equals to a plus b, what will this mean? This will mean s is equals to s plus a plus b. Okay, so do we need to add all the values, last values b? ऐसा तो नहीं है ना कि sum of all the pairs. Sum of each pair is there in the question. Okay, so when you have to take into account the results of last steps also, or each step in the computation, then you use this augmented assignment operator form. Okay, else you should not use it. Ankit, is it clear?
Yes, sir. And what about other situations, sir?
Which
How will
other
we use it?
Other situation means?
Means any other situation other than this, like where we have two variables and we want to use augmented assignment.
हाँ, वो तो दिखाया ना मैंने यहाँ पे. Let's say if I change the question, previous question, कि find the sum of all the pairs. ठीक है, all the pairs में क्या करना पड़ेगा? Yesterday also I solved one question. Here to each pair. Okay, but if you want to find the sum of all the pairs, then what you will do here? Okay, so then here you can change this to s is equals to s plus n1 plus n2, or this can be written as s plus is equals to n1 plus n2. So last sum also will be added to the sum of new pairs. Then each pair of numbers will be added to the before this step, what was the sum of all the previous pairs. Okay, so can you see here we are using more than one you can say operands here. Was it this you were
Yes,
asking, Ankit?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if your question instead of this is sum of each pair, display there sum means each pair's sum. Okay, if the question was display the sum of all the pairs, total sum of all the pairs, then instead of this line, you will write s is equals to s plus n1 plus n2, so that the previous sums are also taken into account, and every time you get a new pair, you will add it to the previous pair also. And then you make s the same value, so that next time when you get a new number, a new pair, you will add that pair's sum to the whatever was the last value of all the pairs. So till by the time you reach 10 pairs, S will contain the sum of all the pairs. Okay. Ankit, clear hai? Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
So I hope this is clear when to use augmented assignment operator. When you have to take into account some previous result also of the result of the previous step or previous round, then you will use S equals to S plus form. Else you are going to use what you say is your normal. Don't use augmented assignment operator. Okay. Now, here the question is, write a program to accept a pair of numbers from the user and print the sum of each pair program should terminate as soon as the user the sum of a new pair is negative. बताओ इसमें. What is the difference between this program and the previous program?
There we knew the number of pairs, but here we don't.
What we don't know?
The number of pairs, the number of pairs
How
of numbers.
many number of pairs you have to accept, right?
Yes,
Here
sir.
specified 10 pairs. Okay, 10 times you have to accept. So that means you are not sure. So which type of loop you have to use? While loop. Okay. So how can we write? If the programmer, let's say, if the person never enters such a number that it comes as negative, then will the program ever terminate? Should the program ever terminate? Ideally.
No, sir.
No. Only if the sum comes as negative for both the pairs or for both the numbers, okay, then only you have to terminate. So that means you are going to write the program for the idle case, and in that case, you will, whenever the sum comes as negative, you will terminate. So first of all, let us write the program assuming that the sum will never come as negative. So what will be the loop? Infinite loop, right?
Yes, sir.
So how we are going to write infinite loop? We have seen a few ways. I will write the simplest one. Okay, what is the simplest way of writing infinite loop?
While true.
While true.
While capital T, while true. Okay, while true, n1 is equals to, here I have not mentioned integer, so here I will write float numbers.
Sir, condition can be anything, sir.
What condition?
Like negative, positive.
That can be done, and then that you can manage here in the body by reversing the sign and all. Okay. Let's say the question was keep on asking for a pair and keep on printing the sum. So you will write S is equals to n1 plus n2 and then print S. So what will this program do?
Infinitely keep asking for numbers and printing the sum.
Infinitely it will keep asking for a new pair each time, and it will keep on printing the sum. But this program we have to modify in such a way that it should terminate as soon as the sum happens to be negative. तो करना क्या है? Very, very simple. Okay. We'll use break here based on condition. If S is less than 0, break. Else keep on printing. Is it
Sir,
fine? Tell me.
The 5th and 6th line can come after the last line, no, sir? Will it still be the same?
Let me first write the line numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and 7. That means you want to say, can we write print before if?
Yes, sir.
That's a good question. You tell me. Anyone here would like to answer this question? Do we need to display the negative sum?
No, sir. It should
No,
terminate.
No. So if you write print S before if, okay, so I'll write here.
then if will have no value.
No, if
will
will
have
have
value,
value.
but
Ankit,
it
it
will
will
print
have
the
value. But what will happen is, the moment you get a negative sum, it will print that sum and then program will be terminated. I don't want to see the negative sum in my output. I only want to see the positive ones. Okay. So if you print this, if printing is done before if statement, okay, if printing is done before if statement, then even for that case, when the pair results in negative sum, when the pair results in negative sum, the sum will be displayed before termination. Displayed before termination of the loop. Termination of the loop, which is not desirable. Okay. Ralvin, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
I only have to. You only have to show the sum for all the cases where the pair results in positive only. Okay. The program will terminate. Of course, the program will terminate, but before terminating, it will display that's for that pair also the sum will be displayed. So can't we use superscripts and subscripts? No. In editors, there is no way of using superscript and subscript. Okay. Right. Therefore, that
Sir,
is the
in
reason
Office we can, no, sir?
without.
In Office, MS Office,
Yeah, you can.
we can use subscriptions.
We can use. Okay. So this was about break. Now let us see about continue. Okay, what I will do is the previous program only I will take, not the previous one, the first one that we took, this one. But I will twist it in a bit different way. Yeah. No, that won't work, Ankit. Copy pasting in text editor from MS Word, it won't work. Okay. तुम करके देखना वो it will simply write x power 2. If you write now, it will write x2 just next to it.
Sir?
Yeah.
Sir, in CMD, I typed while capital T capital R UE and it got into the loop, sir.
It got into the loop. Capital T, capital R.
Yes, sir.
That means there no error was thrown.
No, sir.
Okay, we'll check it. चलो उसको जाते जाते before leaving we'll check it once. Okay, but that shouldn't happen. Okay. एक बार उसको what you do is type function से check it. What does the that your CMD says about the type of capital T, capital R, whatever you have written? Does it say Boolean?
Yes, I'll check, sir.
Okay. You got now what I said? It shouldn't say Boolean. Class bool, it shouldn't come. Okay. Now that same question I'll twist in a bit different way, slightly different way. So the part is just a minute. Okay. Yeah. So write a Python program to accept ten pairs of numbers and print the sum of only those pairs it's not defined. How did you get into that loop then? Okay, we'll check. You can send me your image in that time. Meanwhile, we'll see what is there. Okay, so let me complete this question first. So write a program to accept 10 pairs of numbers and print the sum of only those pairs for which
Sir, yes, sir, it's going into the loop.
even with capital R.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll check that. Don't worry about it. We'll पहले ये question देख लो. Okay, only for those pairs for which the sum is negative. So how this question is different from the first one? Or let's say only for those for which the sum is positive.
Sir, it won't break.
हाँ. Okay, Ankit, leave it. वो उस पे देखेंगे. We'll use our brains there later. Okay. First, let us come here. Focus on this. This is more important.
Sir, in this we don't have to apply break because this
Yeah. So, what is the meaning? Okay, leave it. Break. Apply होगा या नहीं होगा. But what does this question say? What is the difference between the first one and this one?
If sum is positive, it'll print.
That means you don't need to stop execution as soon as any sum is for any pair you find the sum as negative.
Negative.
So that means it has to skip whenever it has to skip printing
When sum is negative.
whenever the sum is negative.
Negative.
For that pair for the sum wherein the pair results in negative, okay, the sum of the pair results in negative. For that pair you won't print. That means printing will be skipped. Okay. So इसमें क्या करेंगे? We'll use for I in range because 10 we have specified. So you can also write 10 here directly. That means 0 to 10. 0 to 10 will give you 10 times only. Actually, it will run from 0 to 9, which will be 10 times. Okay. Range. And then what we'll do? N1 is equals to int input. N2 is equals to int की जगह better होगा, you will take float because integer I have not mentioned. float, input, float, input. Of course, when you're writing the exams, you will write this. A prompt is also desirable. That makes your program more presentable. I'm just skipping it here. Then you will write S is equals to N1 plus N2. Okay. And then N1 plus N2. And then you'll write if S is less than 0, you will write continue. उसके बाद लिखोगे print s. So here what do we understand? Continue statement in a loop causes the program execution control go directly to the next round or iteration of the loop as soon as it is encountered okay statements if any after the continue statement will not be executed. Executed if continue executes. इसका मतलब क्या? The moment anywhere continue statement executes, it will immediately go to the next round of the loop. If there are any further statements after it, okay, that won't be executed. So that means directly as if the body has ended, it will behave in that way. As
Sir,
if it was
can you explain the first line? First two lines. I'm not getting it.
continue statement in a loop causes the program execution control go directly to the next round or iteration of the loop as soon as it is encountered. That is what I'm explaining. वही बता रहे हैं सुनो. The moment continue is hit, the moment this case results in true and this continue is executed, it will cause the program execution control. That means internally the program, there will be one cursor, now it will be coming here, then it will be going to the next line to execute, then going to the next line to execute. That program execution or the program control will immediately go to the next round of the loop. That means new value will be picked up from this list generated by range into the I. Okay, it will behave as if the body has executed all the statements and no further statement is there. So the moment continue is hit, it causes the program flow or the program execution. Okay, so I'll just execution program flow. to go directly to the next round. That means your program will directly go to the next value of I. It will pick the new value from I and it will from this list generated by range, and it will pass. Anything that is after it won't be executed. So the moment, remember, the moment continue statement is hit, it goes to the beginning of the next round of the loop. Is it making sense, Ankit?
Yes, sir.
So the moment the moment it finds the continue there, that means this is you are telling your program, I am not interested in further execution of any line of code if there is after that continue for that round. Go to the new round of the code. That means if I is 1, okay, and when I is 0, if continue is hit, then further this whatever statements are coming after it won't be executed. Immediately it will pick up the new value and I will become 2, new round of the loop will start. Okay, that round will finish at that point only. तो ये चीज समझ में आया? Is it clear? बताओ, नहीं तो else I'll repeat.
Clear, sir.
Everyone, सब लोग बताओ. Bharat is very silent today. He is not there. Generally बीच-बीच में कुछ टाइप करता रहता है. Okay. What about girls? तुम लोग ये बताओ, रुचिका, पूजा and नैनिका. Okay, या पृथ्वीराज को भी समझ में आ गया?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Understood, sir.
Okay, great. और 4 not 4 मतलब not found ही होता है उसका मतलब. That is generally for web pages. Aditya, when we do not find when you are requesting a URL page, कोई एक web page request करो, if it is not found, then that code is known as 4 not 4. Okay. Right. So ये बीच-बीच में कहाँ से आ जाता है? Okay. So just remember, break terminates the loop, continue causes the program flow to move to the next round of the loop. That means a new value will be picked up as if the second round or the third round or whatever round has started. So continue does not break the loop, but continues to the next round of the loop, ignoring any further statement that might be coming after it in the body. ठीक है? तो जैसे ही execute होगा, वो next round में चला जाएगा. Okay. So is it also not controlling the flow of the program? इसीलिए it is also a part of flow control. ठीक है? My Google is showing this. Google ही नहीं खुल रहा है तुम्हारा. Okay. Right. क्या हुआ उल्लास? हाँ, continue in while. Yeah, that will work perfectly fine. ये किस चीज का प्रोग्राम है? Is equals to.
Sir, in while.
अच्छा, same program. Correct. So देखो, अगर उसने while में, again I'll write a note here and then I'll show you his program. Continue can also be used with while. Can also be used with while. So it skips the execution of anything coming after it. Anything means any statement or set of statements coming after it and goes to the and starts the fresh round of the loop. Okay, all right. So एक बार उसका प्रोग्राम देख लेते हैं. उल्लास का जो है, it's correct. So he has done the same thing with while loop. Okay. So यहाँ पे he has started the counter from 0, so that's why he is going till less than 10. So this program, and that number of times the loop will run, he is controlling by a counter A. Every time he is getting a new pair, he is incrementing by the value of A by 1. Okay, and in that case, if he is using S to find the sum of each pair A and B for using the for saving the numbers of the sum. For saving the numbers rather, and then sum is calculated in S. So if the moment the sum for whichever pair the sum happens to be less than 0, that is negative, so he is not interested in printing it, and therefore the print 9 statement number 9 at line number 9 has to be ignored or skipped. So therefore he will, the moment the sum comes as negative, he will the execute will continue will be executed in line number 8, and therefore any further statement, that is line number 9 and whatever, will not be executed, and it will go to the next round of the while loop. Okay, is that fine?
Yes, sir.
Same program है, वो while से किया है बस. Okay, so ठीक है. With this we complete loop, though there is one thing known as patterns in nested loop, but we'll come back to it later. Okay, so there are two things left in the loop that you remind me, though most probably I'll be remembering. I'll make a box here and we'll write. Left in loop. One is nested loop patterns. We'll come back to it maybe after 1 or 2 days. And second is else with for loop. Don't try to explore on your own, I'll explain you. ये दो बचा हुआ है, ठीक है? So remind me later if I forget. Okay. Now, before we close for today, in next 5 minutes, we will learn something new. How many data types we know so far? कितने हैं?
4, sir.
4, sir.
Int, float,
String,
and
boolean.
boolean.
complex भी है, though I have not discussed yet, but briefly we will see someday. These all come under numeric. Okay.
So is that like complex number?
Yeah, that is exactly
Oh,
complex.
okay. Okay.
A plus IY वाला फॉर्म में होता है वो.
Yes.
5. अभी तक string ही देखे ना, boolean. Actually, boolean is also considered a part of numeric only. Okay, but still चलो देख लेंगे. It is considered as a part of numeric, and in numeric it is considered as in under int only. Okay, but we will see it. उस पे ज़्यादा discuss करेंगे. Yeah, Ankit, we are coming to the new one. अभी तो मैंने list बोला नहीं है ना. We'll start today. Okay, so we are going to start with new data type, that is list. Type, that is lists. हाँ, ये सुला, so वैसा ही होगा. We will see it briefly, कभी 2 मिनट में देख लेंगे. आदित्य रुक जाओ, वो सब उतना में नहीं जाना है. We'll see it in 5-10 minutes someday. Okay. So what are lists? Lists are heterogeneous data types in Python. It's just like arrays of other languages. You don't need to worry about arrays like arrays, ARRAY, arrays of other languages. हाँ, साइंस वाला ही heterogeneous है, but heterogeneous solution वगैरह नहीं होगा, but we'll see in what sense. Now tell me, let's say there is a need कि I have to store 10 integers. What will you do? If I tell you to ask from the user or store somewhere 10 different integers,
10
क्या करेंगे?
variables, sir.
We'll create 10 variables A, B, C, D या N1, N2, N3, N4 ऐसे करके.
Yes, sir.
That is the way. So अगर 10 बोल दिया तो कर दोगे, A B C D लेके 10 जहां भी होगा N1 से N10 तक या A B C D E F G till whatever alphabet you come across are the 10th one. So that is possible. What if
we can use for this?
For this,
We
but
need
the
to
question
store.
is not about accepting values, but the question is about retaining also.
Okay.
अच्छा अंकित इसे पिछले वाले क्वेश्चन में जाते हैं. In this question, outside the loop, if I ask you what was the value, what was N1 and N2 for the first pair, do you know? Because the moment you every time a new round comes, the previous values or previous pair values are lost. Can you see here? So this advantage of accepting 10 numbers one by one every time inside the loop has got one disadvantage. And what is the disadvantage? That you cannot store it. It cannot be retained, right? So in such scenarios where you have many numbers, a many set of values that you have to manage and maintain, so you will store it, of course, but then the option is a very costly one. That means you will have to create manage so many different labels, and in some scientific calculations, let's say if you have to use hundreds and thousands of values, तब तो फिर ABCD करके सोचते रह जाओगे, ठीक है? So that will be a problem, managing so many identifier names. Okay, so therefore lists come to your rescue. How it comes to your rescue? Lists allow you to store many values under a single name, under a single identifier name. It's the beauty of list. इसका एग्जाम्पल क्या होगा? जब भी लिस्ट बनाना हो, लेट्स से आई हैव टू स्टोर 5 इंटीजर्स, store 5 integers
And print the biggest among them.
वो क्वेश्चन नहीं जानता, अभी क्वेश्चन छोड़ दो. लेट्स से देयर इज अ क्वेश्चन की 5 integers and print them one by one. Rolwin, it is somewhat same, but it is different in the sense that it is heterogeneous and arrays are homogeneous. Okay, that is the difference. But yes, roughly you can say yes, they are similar, not same. So store 5 integers and print them. ठीक है? So how you will do? तुम बोलोगे I am not creating I am creating a variable which will be identified by A, and in that memory location I want to store one single value. I will store a list. And how do you suggest computer that you are going to store a list in that memory location? Box brackets. 5 integers can be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So in the box brackets, the moment you write numbers separated by comma or any value separated by comma, that A will be a variable in the memory. There will be a memory block containing the list which will be identified by A. Okay. Yeah, store list. What do you mean by that, Ankit?
The word, sir.
हाँ मतलब store list type का नहीं बोलते but we'll say only list.
No, sir, I'm telling if the word is store, then a list is used like that.
If the word is store means or you have to manage more than one numbers, yeah, or accept 10 numbers from the user, so that way you can do such things. Okay, चलो उस पे और discuss करेंगे. One final concluding comment. अभी list we have not started even. I'm just giving you a very brief idea. Okay, why homogeneous? Why heterogeneous? I'm not sure about the spelling of heterogeneous, but still. Okay. क्योंकि not only it can contain, it is not necessary that you should have same data types separated by comma. The list can be a mixture of many data types. For example, you can have 1, -3, 5.2. You can see first two are integers, third one is float, and who has said only numeric type? Fifth one can be high. Okay. And then you can have 2000. Therefore, heterogeneous. So, list can have values of more than one types. Therefore, it is heterogeneous. But arrays in other languages, they are just like lists, but they cannot have more than one data type. अगर जावा में अगर array बनाओगे तो all the values should be, अगर पहला integer है तो all should be integer. If first is string, all should be string. Yes.
Sir, so lists can accommodate all different types in all different types of inputs in Python.
Yeah, that's why it is heterogeneous. It can. It is not necessary that list should be the list of integers only. It can be list of it can have integers as well as strings, as well as float value, as well as list itself. We will see all such things. Huh?
Complex?
Complex also. All the data types that you have learned can be inside a list.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
So when you check for the type of list,
it will give you a list.
Okay, sir.
Okay, it's a new data type.
Arrays don't exist in Python, sir?
No.
Okay, sir.
In Python, the arrays are, in fact, the concept of arrays is more powerful, has been made more powerful using lists. Arrays are not so much flexible. We'll learn many things about lists. Okay, but from this point, we will take it up tomorrow. Okay. This is a wonderful feature in Python. Right. ठीक है, चलो, we'll wrap it up here.